Hi everybody, it's Kathy here and I am so happy that you are here today. We are doing the Iron Crafter Challenge. Well, I'm doing it and hopefully you'll join in and play along with the rest of us. So this month we have been challenged to use our stamps, to use the embossing powder and to use a cut file. Now, unfortunately this morning my Cricut Joy died. It just stopped working, so I'm going to have to invest in a new one, and I had to fall back on my original Cricut, which was with the cartridges. So these are the papers I'm choosing to use, and I did do a cut file from my original cartridges. So I'm going to start with my embossing of my title. So it is a stamp. These are foam letters. I found them again. I knew I had them and I found them again. I was so excited. I use my bowl here to do my embossing over because it collects all of the powder that I can return back into the container when I'm finished. So I'm doing each of the letters individually, and at first I just do these ones, and then I go, as you can see, when I'm more confident that the embossing is in the right spot, that I can then go and do the rest of them. I'm adding in that magic powder to remove the static so that the embossing powder will just only stick where that embossing gel is. And I have done it clear. I could have stamped it and then embossed it, but I decided I would just do it clear with it and then put on the black embossing powder. And I really do like how that's come together. I am going to individually cut out those letters as well. So you can just see here where the heat gun is making the embossing powder set, and I just like watching how that goes over, and then everything melts together and comes together as a solid. And it makes such a big difference on the stamping that you've done. Alright, now this one that I've got, this black one, is great because it's got a mixture of matte and gloss through it, so it gives like a road effect, and that's very clever. It looks like asphalt, that's the word I was looking for. So you can see here some are glossy and some are flat, and I just like that effect that it has. Next I am going to use some Stampin' Up stamps, or no, I think these ones are Creative Memories ones, which I am quite surprised when I've gone through my stamp collection of how many I actually own, which is pretty unusual because I would not have thought I owned that many, but I actually do. This one says, be happy, be, forget what it says actually, be happy, be proud, be you, something like that, and that's what I'm going to put in my top cluster. And then I have a whole lot of little ones that have little sayings that I'm going to also incorporate. So I'm using the embossing pad there to emboss them, and that's the Versa pad that I'm using there, and it's a little bit not as full as I'd like it to be, so I'm going to go back over with the Dauber. And the Daubers are really good because they really do allow a lot of embossing gel to go onto your stamps. So I'm putting that down, and the best thing about having that magic powder, you can see if it actually is working, and you can see that on the cardstock it's there, and you'll notice that I had to go back over that word smile there. Now that I've done that, I'm going to pour my powder over the top and give it a bit of a shake, and it will stick to the embossing gel or the embossing medium, and then I can use my heat gun here and make them into their solid shapes, which are really good for the overall effect that you want to achieve. So Tara creates this challenge for us each month, and this one is actually an amazing challenge. I love that she asks us to use embossing powder. I have so many that I just sit there and I forget to use them. So what I'm doing here now is I'm going to, instead of using distress ink to create a mixed media background, I'm using the embossing powder and the embossing Dauber. And that's because that's where my title will sit, and I just want it to be in the background and create a visual depth to the layout. So I'm just going to heat this now, and you'll see that I've gone and cut out those stamps off screen, and they are quite striking in the black and the yellow. Now this paper that I'm using, it is from Paper Rose, and it is a wood grain, and I love it, and it has yellow, my favourite colour, in it. So, but double bonus, love wood grain and love yellow, so double bonus by that paper range. I'm just attaching it to an inner black frame, which I've decided that for this one I'm going to have a double frame on it, so I wanted it to stand out around the edging, and that ties in with my photo, which you will see shortly. Pardon me, sorry, I have a very dry throat. This is a little bit difficult today, and the reason being is it's so hot here. It is so hot and muggy, and that everything is tacky, and so getting things apart is really hard. So as I said, I used a cut file from my original Cricut, and as you can see, it's caught and jammed a bit, but that's okay because that will get covered by my photo. And I'm just where I've torn it with myself. I didn't tear it on the Cricut, I tore it myself as I was moving it around on the other edge there, but I've just been able to stick that down and you can't tell. So I'm just double matted the photos in reverse to the frame, so that's there, and now I'm going to add in some layering underneath. And the reason I cut off that extra bit there is because I'm going to use it as an anchor point at the top for my cluster that's going to the top of the layout. This is my son. He was out this day doing his water rescue training. So he was down on the Pean River, and the RFS were doing their water rescue training. So he was there, and I think his captain took that photo. He's so serious, so pensive. But he is driven. He looks for every opportunity to take on any more training he can. And he always aims to better himself in the firefighters. I think a lot of that comes from the fact that with his dyslexia and the army saying that he can't do, he has a personal mission to prove that he can do. And unfortunately for the army, they missed out, but the RFS have got him, and he is working hard and building his skills in that arena. And he jumps on board everything, and it's pretty amazing the things he can do now. I did go back and add a little bit more of the embossing paint down to that bottom left-hand corner because it was a bit bare, and I have added in some arrows around the word phrasings that I've put in there, and I'm just adding in pops of colour here just to pad out those 3 cluster points. So I'm very happy with how this has come out. It's a very masculine type layout. I did the glasses as the file cut because he's very particular about his sunglasses. They've got to be able to polarize the water, they've got to be able to reflect the sun, and they have to protect his eyes. So that's a main reason why I chose the glasses for my cut file. So it says, be happy, be bright, be you, and that's exactly what it is for him. And I just want him to be him and just worry about him. It's pretty sad how quickly people's confidence can be annihilated, and you know, when you already have the whammy of a learning disability that is not a detriment, just a hurdle, it's funny what lack of knowledge and lack of understanding actually produces in people. So I have a complete playlist linked below. We had to use embossing powder, we had to use our stamps, we had to use a die cut or cut file. Hope I did something to earn a thumbs up. Happy scrapping, everybody. Thank you for staying and watching, and I'll see you in the next video.